said, okay, because he wanted to. You're not going to be a dictator, is that, you know? I said, no, Sean, I'm going to be a dictator. I said that.
One of the biggest fears surrounding Trump's re-election is the fact that he has said on multiple occasions in slightly different wording that he would essentially function as a dictator, along with the fact that quite a few of his MAGA followers have stated that they would either accept a Trump dictatorship or encourage it. Now, there's more to this clip than just that one statement, and they actually use the context of this clip as part of their argument. But if you stick around in a little bit, I am going to turn their argument on its head. The idea of him acting in ways that parallel a dictatorship are literally the most massive threat to our democracy.
They like to say I'm a threat to democracy. What the hell have I done?
What haven't you done? Stole nuclear documents from the government, gave them to Kid Rock and who knows who else, incited an insurrection, facing 34 felony counts of falsifying information, cheated on his taxes, consistently lies about his money, incites hate. I mean, the list goes on, and it writes itself. I mean, if inciting an insurrection within the Capitol after you don't win the election you wanted isn't just dictator adjacent, at the very least, I don't know what is. Except perhaps being good buddies with similar style leaders.
But I saw something today that's maybe worse than anything. President Xi of China, I know him well, and President Putin of Russia, I know him well. They're right now together working on plans where they combine, where they get together and do damage, because that's ultimately what they're thinking about, doing damage.
He knows them well. But they're doing, he said they're doing damage, and maybe you can take it as he thinks that that's bad and he wants to not be like them. So what's he going to do to not create more damage in America? What's he going to do to mitigate damage? Well, here's one plan.
Win, lose, or draw in this election, will you commit here today for a peaceful transferal of power after the election? And there has been rioting in Louisville, there's been rioting in many cities across this country, red and your so-called red and blue states. Will you commit to making sure that there is a peaceful transferal of power after the election?
Well, we're going to have to see what happens. You know that I've been complaining very strongly about the ballots, and the ballots are a disaster.
I understand that, but people are rioting. Do you commit to making sure that there's a peaceful transferal of power?
We want to get rid of the ballots, and you'll have we'll have a very peaceful. There won't be a transfer, frankly. There'll be a continuation. The ballots are out of control. You know it, and you know who knows it better than anybody else? The Democrats know it better than anybody else. Go ahead.
Oh, the plan is to create more chaos and more damage. Okay, so can't give him the benefit of the doubt because clearly that was incorrect. You know who else doesn't want a peaceful transferal of power to someone else? Dictators. Now, what about that first clip where he straight up said, I'm going to be a dictator? Well, here's the clip in a little bit more context.
He says, tell us, you're not going to be a dictator, right? I said, Sean, I'm going to be a dictator for one day, for drilling and for closing the border. And after that, I'm not going to be a dictator. So remember the way I said, I'm going to be a dictator for one day, for those two things. And then after that, I'm not going to be. So I said, I'm going to be a dictator for one day, for drilling, right? For drilling.
Now, I have seen endless amounts of conservatives online talking about how that dictator clip that I showed you in the beginning was taken out of context, and here is the context. And my argument is the context isn't doing you any favors. I'm going to be a dictator, but only for the things that I feel very strongly about. So the things that I want to get done, I'm going to be a dictator about those. But then I'll go back to democracy. That's how dictatorships work. They're dictators because the things that they want to do and get done or have passed, they don't want any opposition to. That's why it's a dictatorship. So while the argument is he didn't say he was going to be a full-on dictator, that doesn't mean a whole hill of beans, my friend. Not to mention the other arguments, such as he's just joking or he's too stupid to become a dictator. Is that a gamble that you guys want to take? You want to threaten our democracy, something that you claim to stand so strongly behind. You want to gamble that away for him? Because that's how a dictatorship starts. So unless you want a full-on 100% all-in dictatorship, you can't just dip your toe in the water. For a dictatorship, you're either all in or you're all out. If you give your leader dictator-like powers, there's no coming back from that. The clip may have been taken out of context, but I'm telling you right now, it didn't change the meaning at all. And a dictatorship would be disastrous. Please go read a history book. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to check out some of my content that isn't news related, you can check out my personal YouTube channel at Bad Gamer Wyatt. And until then, I will see you in the next video. Thank you.